Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to make out a Python project. So that particular Python project is automating out a camera. So today we'll be making out our own camera. Now say goodbye to laptop cameras and the phone cameras. So we're making out our own camera today. Right, so this is the project which we are going to follow right today. And right, so let me tell you the features that we'll be adding. So we'll be adding out a capture button that would help us to actually capture out the image for us. But before capturing out the image, you need actually to select out one of the locations, one of the destination that we just want to save out your image. Let's say I just want to save it onto the C, then users and somewhere there. So before capturing out your image, you need to address that particular location or that particular destination where you are going to save out your image, right? And after that, you could just click onto your image. Now, that would be a square actually, could just like consider that as a rectangle as well. Onto that, you'll be having two sides. One side would be a small rectangle inside a big rectangle where you'll be getting out that, okay, here you'll be able to see out your image that, okay, that what angle I need to set out and what are the things that I need to set out actually. And onto the other side, you would be having a blank. So as soon as you click out your image, your particular image will be displayed on that portion as well. That yes, this is the image which has been actually clicked by you. Right, hope you are clear with this particular thing, whatever I had just told you. So this is the whole idea about that camera project which we are going to make today. So let's start with that particular thing. I will just not waste out too much of time here. Fine. Right here. The very first thing that we do here is that we import out all of the libraries that we'll be needing throughout this particular project. Now, please make sure to remember out one particular thing here that yes, this is a GUI project. Okay, it's really a GUI project only. So in that case, when we are making out a GUI project in Python programming, what we need out a Tkinter library, right? We had already done lots and lots of project using the Tkinter library. So hope you are now very much familiar that how Tkinter library actually works out. Right? If not, so today we'll be getting again a clear idea regarding the working of the Tkinter library. Now, automating out the camera of your laptop and all these things. So these things are clearly done by the CV. That is the OpenCV part. So in that case, we'll be importing out the CV2 library as well. Fine, these are the ideas. I'll be taking out the PIL, that is basically for a capture, that is basically for saving out the images. So that library is used. And yeah, these are some of the things that we'll be using right here. Let's start up with the things right here. Okay. So first of all, I'll be importing out my Tkinter. So I would just write here import Tkinter as TK. Imported out my Tkinter library. After that, from my Tkinter library only, I've been importing asterisk. So that means that from Tkinter import asterisk. Now, this from Tkinter import asterisk, this complete line actually means out that from my Tkinter library, I just want to import all of the functions which I have particularly in this library. Right? What are the functions I'm having? I'm importing that out. Next, I'll be writing that from Tkinter import, and here goes the message box, comma, file dialog. These are two separate things which I have imported from my Tkinter library only, right? That is completely sorted. Other than this, okay, let's keep this thing right here till this particular point only, and afterwards I'll be defining out the other things. Like I will be importing out the libraries as soon as we just put on and go ahead with the things, right? So I will just not import all of the things at one single go only, right? This is how it's gonna be. Fine. Now comes that what I'll be doing is that I'll be making out my that root window, my window of my Tkinter. So the variable that I'm going to give out here is window, that is equal to, and I'm just write out here tk.tk like this. Now why I'm just using this small tk as well, because to my Tkinter library I have given out this tk as a short form. So wherever I just need to use out this Tkinter library, instead of writing out this complete name, I would simply be writing out here this TK like this, right? This is the complete actual reason why I have written out here this TK. And this capital 1, this capital T and small k is one of my Tkinter functions which allow me to make out a Tkinter window. Hope you're very much clear with this particular thing, right? Okay. What else do I have here? I could just give out some length and width as well to my window, that I just want this much of height and this much of length and that all things, right? So I could just write out variable here, that's tk underscore width comma tk underscore height. Okay, that's height like that, okay? And setting them as, let's say my Tkinter width is 650 and let's say my height here is 400 and let's start be 400 and something around 90. Okay, great, fine. This is my width. I just want to set it out here, and at last I could just simply give out a title and the things as well here, whatever I actually needed out. So I could simply mention out here window dot, and what's the title? So title, okay. So the title which I'll be giving onto this particular window is my own cam, right? You could just set anything according to your choice. Hold on, let me just comment this particular thing right over here. We're not using this out. This will be used actually afterwards, not right here. Sorry for that. Okay, after that I would just write your window dot, and here goes the geometry. Now here comes the geometry that will be assigning to your MEP. Like this. Okay, putting out the bracket here, and inside this I'll be passing on my relevant geometry. Let's say that is 1350 cross, and that's, let's say, 710. Okay. One thing to remember here particularly, that it's not a multiplication sign, it's a small x character that we actually have, right? Please make sure to remember out these small things. Okay, I would just write your root dot resizable. Okay, that's not root, I'm so sorry, it's window dot resizable. Okay, putting out the bracket here, and I do not want this to be resized, so I would just set that as false here. This one as well and this one as well. That's my width and height. Both of them I just wanted to sort out here as false. I do not want that they should be resized. So in that case, I'm simply putting on my options here, which is false. Okay, I hope you got out this idea. Okay, next is that I would just write out here root dot configure. I'm so sorry, I would just writing out here as window dot configure. Now what's that used for? Actually, it's used for setting out the background color. Background. Okay, so here you could just set out any background color according to your choice. I will just set it out as light pink. Okay, that's sorted. Okay, this is done, and at last I would simply write out here window dot main loop. Okay, that's like this, main loop. Now, whenever you are just writing out any program using the Tkinter libraries, this main loop is the last function that you will be using out throughout this particular project. So you could see that this is main loop is one of the functions which allows you in the Tkinter library to see out the output. If you are not using this out, so you won't be able to see out your output, right? So let me just quickly run it out here, and let's see that what's the thing that has been made up at this particular place. So yeah. This is how my window has been made out. It's of 1350 cross 710. Fine, and it's having the light pink color the background, and here I am having my own cam. Now let me give you an idea. See, just see my cursor of my mouse. Okay, please see the cursor. Onto this one side, onto this particular portion, this one side, one of the frames would come. Onto this another side, one frame would come. In the downside, I would be having my buttons to capture out my image. Okay, it's the idea. Let's close it out quickly, and now what we'll be doing is that I'll be making out different functions that will allow me to do out several things for this particular things right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make out the functions. Fine. So my first function, I'll be making it to create the Tkinter widgets. Coming down here, right? So div, and I would be just giving it out a name as features, and that would be add underscore features. Actually, I'm just trying to add out some cool stuffs, some images, some boxes onto this particular my Tkinter window. That's the thing which I'm gonna do inside this particular function, and this is the reason why I had added the function name as add underscore features. Hope you're very much clear with this particular thing. Okay. Right. So now here I'll be using window dot. Okay, window dot, and I'll be having the first of all, I'll be setting out different labels here. So I'm just giving that label underscore one, my variable name. Now label is one another function which allows you to write out anything onto the Tkinter window. Write out anything onto Tkinter window. Let's say the window which you had made out. There you just want to get out some, let's say, you want to make out any particular, you want to write any text and all those things. So that are done using this particular thing. Okay. So fine. Here I was supposed to be setting out the variable in which I have stored out my Tkinter window, and that's again window for me. Coming back to my BG color, that's my background color. Okay, so my background color I'll be giving out as red, let's say. Putting out a comma here. What about my FG color? So FG color I would be giving out here as white only, because on red white would actually be clearly visible to us, right? Now what text do I just want to print out? Let me do one thing right here. Let me quickly copy all of these things, Control C, and remove it from here. I'll be adding all of those things out after my text. Fine. What text do I just want to put it out here? So, okay, I'll be putting my text as, okay, that's webcam. Okay, I will just write out here as camera feed. Okay, my variable, my text we just want to put out at this particular place, camera feed. Fine, that's done. Now what about the font? What is the font which you actually want to give out? So I just want to set out my font as first of all Arial, and the size would be, let's say, 24. Size would be 24, and even I just want that into the bold as well. So that all things have been written out at this particular place. Fine. Now coming to the new line, I'm writing out here as window dot, that's label underscore one, putting out a dot and using out my grid function. So now what's that actually used for? It is actually used for setting out a particular position, that whatever the text you have written, that's camera feed actually, at what position you are willing to put out that particular text. It's not that case that anywhere randomly you'll be putting this out. No, it's not, right? So you will be giving out and setting out a particular dimension that I want my text at this particular place only, right? Okay. One another important thing regarding this grid function is that grid function always takes the values into the form of row and columns, not in the form of x and y axis. Okay, it takes the form of row and column. So row value I'm going to give as 1. What about my column? My column value again I'm going to give as 1. We have some PADX and PADY values. I would set that to 11. I would set my PADY value again to 11 here. And we have one another parameter, that is column span, and I'll be setting that as, let's say, 2. Right? These are the relevant things which I just wanted to add here. Fine, this is first one is for my camera feed, and let me give this only as my variable name, otherwise it would make some issues while calling and using out these things. So it's like basically good to give out the name with that particular thing only, camera underscore feed. Now it's okay, absolutely fine. Now after this particular thing, I would be making out the label for my camera. Okay, I just want to set out, give out a label as well for my camera here. So fine, let's do that out. So here I'll be writing out a window dot. Okay, and my function name would be label underscore cam. my variable name. Okay. Here I'll be again setting out here as label, but a little bit slight difference is there that I do not want to give out any text here. Okay, I would not be setting out any text. Window my variable name. Then I have here relief. That relief I'll be setting as groove. This is one of the methods which we have here. I want to give out the background color. So BG color would remain the same. That's, let's say, red. After that, I just want to put out a comma and okay, I just want to give out one border width as well. So border width, and let's say my border width is 3.5. Okay, all sorted. And in the next line, I'm gonna give it out the dimensions that where to place this out. So the first one was placed at the row number 1. So now this will be at the row number 2. Column would remain same because I want the alignment from the column side, not from the row side. Okay. Row is equal to 2, column is equal to 1. I just want out to some PADX and PADY values, so that would absolutely remain same as given above. Okay. I'm so sorry, here I just missed writing out dot grid. That's why it was coming into the light pink color. Yes, PADX is done. Here I have PADY and that's again 11. And what about my column span? So column span, and that's again, okay, above I've got 2, right here 2. Right, label for my camera has been made right here. Okay, now we'll be making out one more box, but that would not be now label. Okay, that would not be a label. That would be one of my entry box. So you remember I just told you that we'll be saving that onto a particular destination, the saving the image onto a particular location. So for that particular case, I would actually be needing out entry box. Entry box is one of the features in Tkinter which allows you to write anything onto that Tkinter window. See, it's a difference between the label. Label will help you to display that particular text. But entry box, you'll be able to write on that entry box anything, anytime onto the Tkinter window. Okay. So now that is sorted. Here comes the window, window dot. And now I'll be having my function name is entry underscore save. Okay. Using here my entry box. Okay. What's the thing that I just want to put out here? So first of all, I'll be putting out as window. What's the width which I want? So width is equal to, let's say it's 56. Putting out a comma. And what's my text variable for this particular thing? So text variable, I would just leave that blank right here because we haven't defined anything till now. Okay. So I'll be leaving out that text variable empty for now. Okay. And here comes again window dot. That's entry underscore save dot grid. Now where to place that out? So the value for my row is 3. The value for my column is 1. What about my PADX and PADY? That's absolutely the same which we had mentioned. So PADY is equal to 11 and the PADY, okay, sorry, here goes the X is equal to 11, comma PADY is equal to again 11. Right, all of the things are now done. Next, after doing out this particular thing, what do I want? I want to set out a browse button as well. So that button will actually help me to browse out the particular location. Right, so here comes the window dot that's button underscore browse. You'll be having a feature into this. You'll be having a feature to setting out your own destination, like putting on your own destination folder, or you could even just browse and find out any particular location for you. Both will be available. Okay. So for that, I'll be using out again one of my buttons. So I'll be making out a button for that. So button, and here goes the window, putting out a comma. What is the width that I want? So width is my, let's say 11. What about the text? Okay, first I'll be mentioning out the text. After that, I'll be mentioning out the okay, let's mention our text, and that text is basically browse. Fine, that is done. What about width? Width I have already mentioned. After width, I have one command function. So that again I'll be adding afterwards, not right here. Okay. So after that command, I just need to put out the values and give it up the grid. Now I would be giving the alignment according to the row wise and getting out the changing out my column value, not my row value. Right, this is how it's gonna be. So my variable name is window dot button underscore browse dot, and here goes the grid. Into the bracket, I'll be setting out my rows. So my row is actually 3. What about my column? So my column value is, let's say, 2. Above it was 1, so now here it would be 2. Right. After that, I have the PADX and PADY values again. So that would be again same as mentioned before. So PADX is 11, PADY is again 11. Right. All the things are done. Okay. This is done. Browse button has again been made out. Next, I'll be making out my capture button. So I'll be copying out this particular line which we have written, Control C, and pasting them right here. And I'll be just again going back. So my variable name would be button underscore capture. Okay, button underscore capture. Again, here as well, it would be button underscore capture. So what text do I just want to put out? I want to put out that text here as click. Right here, click. Okay. Okay. After that, window is set out. What's the other thing? I just do not want out the now width here. Okay, width I just want, but I will be setting that as a little bit like this. Putting out a comma, I want to set out my background color again as well. So BG is equal to, and we're setting that as yellow. Okay. And what about my FG color? Okay, yes, FG color again I'll be setting, so that I would set as black. Putting out a comma and mentioning out my font. So my font would be, I would be just putting out here as Arial. The size would be, let's say, well, let's not it, let that be 18. And yes, that would be in bold. Right here, so all of these things I had already mentioned. So what are the things that I just want, and the command I'll be mentioning afterwards as soon as I have defined out the functions, right? And now, taking out the values here, so my row would here be now 4 and my column value would be 1. Only this much difference has to be made out, fine? Now, I'll be again making out a button to stop out the camera. So first one is to capture out the camera and second one is to stop. So again I'll be copying that. Okay, let's remove that and copy out this particular now. So Control C, and here goes the Control V. Okay, let me take this command above only. Fine. Now I just want to first of all change out my variable name. Right, so my variable names, so that's button underscore stop. Okay, and here as well it goes the button underscore stop. What text do I just want to put on here? So the text we just want to put on here is stop. Stop cam. Okay, that has been sorted. And like command I'll be discussing afterwards, not right here. Let me just go forward and let me define out the width. So my width would be, let's say, 14. Yes, what about BG color? Let that be yellow only. FG would be, let that be red, sorry, black only. Font would let that be same. Nothing too much difference, right? Simply changing out the values here for my row and my column. Now, okay, row would actually be 4 and my column value would be 2. I just want that now into the alignment of the column, not into the row. Okay, that has again been made out. So the column has again been made out here at this particular place. This is again sorted. Now, I would be, as I mentioned, that will be having a preview button as well. So now I'll be making out the preview label here. Okay, that will be actually helping us to get out the preview. So here goes window dot label underscore preview, and that's equal to using out my label function. Using out your as window, comma, what's my background color? So that would be red, let's say, comma. What about my FG color? So my FG color would be white, let's say, putting out a comma. What text do I just want to put out? So the text which I just want to put out is, let's say, preview image. Okay, right here. What about my font? So my font would be that would be Arial. Size would be 21, and that would be in the bold. Right, all the things are sorted. So yes, now coming down to the new line, I'll be setting out my column values. So that would be window dot label underscore, that's preview dot, here goes the grid function into the bracket. We have now I'll be setting out my row value as 1 because I just want that thing to display above only, not down. Okay, so this is done. Column value is 4 and PADX value is 11, PADY value is again 11, putting out a comma, and here let's see your column span. Okay, so my column span is, let's say, 2 only. Right, all the things are again made out. Excuse me. Okay, this is all done. Now what I just want is that I'll be making out a label for my image. Right, so here comes the window dot label underscore image, putting, okay, that's image like this, putting out the equal to sign, using out my label function. We're using here the window comma. What about my BG? So that would remain the same, that's the red. Right here, fine. Background color would remain the same, that's the red here. What about my border width? So let's say my border width is 5, putting out a comma. What about the relief? So that relief would again be the same which we had given above, that is groove. And we'll be using the window dot label underscore image to give it out some grid values. So okay, dot grid into the bracket, I'll be setting out the value for row, that's 2. Column value would be, let's say, 4. What about the PADX? That would again be 11. PADY, that's Y. That would again be 11 for me. What about the column span? So that would be 2. Similar as we had used above, right? These labels have been made out. Okay, so this label for the image, one second, let me just go back. Okay, label image has been made out. Next label that I'll be making out is window dot. Now I'll be opening out, I'll be making out a variable. I'll be making out a variable for opening out the image entry. Another box which I mentioned, there will be 2 boxes, right? So the second box will be able to open out the image which is actually captured by our cam which we are making. So okay, so it will be, let's say, open underscore img variable name. Okay, here goes the label into the bracket. I have window text variable. I'll be mentioning not mentioning anything right here because that are all things I'll be defining afterwards. So let that be blank for now and putting out a comma. Right here I would be setting it out. So okay, what about the width? So width would be, let's say, 56. Coming down, setting it out and giving it out some positions. So that's open underscore img. Dot, here goes the grid function into the bracket. I have, what about the rows? Row is actually 3 for me. What about the value for the column? So that's 4. PADX is equal to 11, and here goes the PADY, again that's 11. Right, so that is again all sorted. Fine. And now I'll be making out my last widget. And that is basically the open image button. Now I'll be making out a button for opening out my image, right? Okay, let that be let's change out the name. That's entry. Let that be entry underscore image, right? So it seems more feasible actually. Fine. So right here it comes, and I'm just writing out here as window dot. Now opening out the image button. So my variable will be button underscore image. That's equal to, using out my label function. Sorry, not the label because we are making out a button. So the button function goes out here, putting out the bracket here. First of all comes out the window variables. After that comes out my text. So my text which I just want to set out here is browse. Okay, putting out a comma, what is the width for that? So width would, let's say, be 11. And I even have a command function to write it out, so we need to follow. So but that will not be written right now because I haven't made that out. Right, so here comes again window dot button underscore, and here comes the image dot. Use out my grid function. What about my row? So my row has been sorted to 3. What about my column? So my column is 5. PATX would again be 11 and PATY again would be 11. Right, so again all the things are completely sorted here. Okay, fine, that has been done. Now, next thing that I'll be making is that I'll be making out my one of the functions to show out my webcam feed. Okay, so whatever the camera label we had made above, so now I'll be making out a function that will be helping me to show out my webcam feed. So coming out here and defining out a new function. So that's cam underscore feed, FEED, putting out the bracket and coming to the new line. Right, so now what I'll be doing is that I'll be capturing it frame by frame. Okay, so how we just do that thing out? Okay, now I've been needing to import out my CV2 library as I was mentioning. So import CV2. Now if it hasn't been installed for you, so you could just open out the terminal from here and write out the command for installing, that's pip install CV2. Right, I have already installed that, so for me I just do not want to do out that particular thing again. Right, you could just simply write pip install CV2 and that would actually work out for you. Fine, coming to the new line. I'll be capturing out the frame one by one. So that's frame variable is frame 1, comma frame 2. My two variables. That's frame like this. Fine. And that would be window dot. We have cap dot. And here goes the read. This is one thing that actually applies out here that I just need to put on. Fine. One function. Okay. Now, if my frame 1, if the things are being done for my framework, so this cap is basically for capturing out the frame. Okay, for capturing out the image. Right, sorted. So if basically my frame 1 is there, so what I'll be doing is that I'll be flipping out that particular frame vertically. Right, because so in the other frame it would be displayed like that only. So okay, so let's say my variable is frame 2 is equal to, here goes the CV2, my library which I have already imported above, CV2 dot, and my function would be flip. Okay, and inside the bracket I'll be flipping it out, flip out my frame 2, comma, and here put out the position which is 1. Okay, so 1 is basically for vertically, so I'm just 1 is for vertical. Okay, so I'm just flipping out my frame vertically here. Fine. Now next what I'll be doing is that okay, next in the next like position, what I'll be doing is that I would be displaying out one of my images right here. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be displaying out the date and time. Okay, whatever the date is currently or whatever the time is currently, I'll be displaying that onto my feed. Let me take this bracket first of all above. Coming to the new line, and here goes the CV2, my function name. Sorry, my library name, which we had actually made, imported above. CV2 dot put text. Now, put text is one of the functions which we have right here. Okay, so that has been done. Now, here I'll be mentioning out frame 2, putting out a comma, and now above first of all, I'll be importing out my datetime module. So I'll just write out here the function that's import datetime. Okay, import datetime. So that is the one. And now what it will help me to do out is that it will help me to mention out the current date and time onto which this particular image has been captured, right? So the function is datetime dot now. Now is the one which will help me to display out the current time. After that, I have one strf time. Now, what this strf time actually does, it helps me to get out the time into the format, whatever I just want out. Fine, so I want it into the %d. Okay, %d slash, I just then want month. And then I just want out %year. So this is the format in which I just want it to be displayed by would be capital. Okay. Okay, after that I want the other things, that is hour, I want a minute, and even I want the seconds. Fine, so this is hour, minute and seconds, and this is date, month and year. Right, hope these things are clear to you. After that, what I'll be doing is that coming out of the first bracket, putting out a comma and mentioning out here the position, let's say 20, 30. Again putting out a comma and writing out here CV2 dot. And now I have one function that's actually font underscore, and that is yes, font underscore Hershey underscore complex. Okay, this is one of the function which you have here, and if you want you could absolutely use that out, right? So okay, that's, let me, instead of this complex, let me use out this duplex. Fine, putting out a comma, putting right here 0.5 comma, mentioning out, let's say 0 comma 255 comma 255, simply setting it out colors, nothing more than that, right? That has again been sorted. Yeah, this has been made out. I had put on the like time and the date and all those things, whichever I just want. Now I just want to create out an image memory above my frame. Okay, I'll be doing that out. So that's img underscore video. That's video like this. Okay, that has been done, and into this I'll be setting out my image, putting out a dot, and then using out here as from array. Okay, inside the bracket it's CV2 image, right? Yeah, so CV2 image. Oh, okay, I'm so sorry, I just first of all need to define this out. Fine, I just need to define out this variable. That's let that be img underscore let's say img underscore image, putting equal to sign, that cv2, first of all cv2 dot cvt color, right? That's one function which we have out here actually, and I'm just setting that into the frame, that's frame. Okay, putting out a comma here and using it out again, cv2 dot that's color underscore and bgr2 gray. Okay, that is to rgba. Where is that bgr2? Okay, let me put on this as well, and let me make it out to rgba. Fine, right, I've just written that out. That is sorted. So here what I'm just doing is that I'm changing out my color of my frame from bgr to rgb. Okay, simply again, if you just want to wish out to do this, do, otherwise leave that out, not compulsory. Fine, next I'll be creating out an image memory from the above frame, the above which we had made out. From that I'll be making out. So like variable name is img underscore video, that's equal to, I'll be setting out the variable here as, let's say, image image, right? Dot, and comes the here function that is from array, so using that out from array. Inside the bracket I'll be putting out the variable, that's img underscore image, right? That has again been sorted. Now I'll be making out an object for the image to be displayed in the frame. Okay, now I'll be making that out. So let's do that thing right here again, come down. Fine, let's write that out here. Right here, so it goes that image video is done. Let's say my variable is tk underscore image, tk underscore img. Here goes the function that is image. Okay, just one second. Here goes the function that is image tk. This is one of the functions which we have here. Okay, putting out the dot here, and after that I'll be writing out here my photo image, right? A function, have I imported this above or not? I just need to see this out. Let's go back and once see it. So no, we haven't. So let's import out now the PIL module which I was talking about. So from that PIL module I'll be importing out some relevant libraries only, some relevant functions, not everything. So from PIL import image comma image tk, right? That has been imported right here at this particular place. Coming down again back here. So the photo image has been made out, and after this photo image, Now I would be into the bracket, I'd be putting out image is equal to, and my variable that is img underscore video, the above one which we had made right here. Fine. Again, that has been made. Now I'd be configuring out the display. I'll be configuring out the label to display into the frame. Right. So I'll be using out window dot. That's okay. That's label. Haven't made out any function like that. So it's camera label, right? Camera label dot. Here comes the configure. And into the bracket, I'd be setting out my image once. Okay, where's that bracket? Here goes the image is equal to. And that I'll be setting it as the above one, that is small tk underscore img. Right, again sorted. Now, next I'll be making out a reference for keeping this all of these things. So comes the window dot camera label again, the one which we had used, camera label like this. Dot, and here again comes the configure function inside the bracket. It again comes the image. So now I'll be setting out my image like that, not the video one, the another one. Okay. So okay, 1 second, img underscore video has been done, tk underscore image has again been done. So yeah, keeping out the reference, so it's not like that. So after camera label, I'll be setting out a dot and using out here that above variable, that's tk underscore img, putting out that equal and again writing out that variable name tk underscore img. Fine. Okay, what above, what's the error? It is showing that image tk. Okay, let that be. Let's see afterwards. Fine. That has again been done out here, and at last what I'll be doing is that I'll be calling out the function after the 10 milliseconds, right? So for calling that, okay, let me just come to the new line, and for calling that, I'll be writing out here window dot, that's camera label again. So it's camera label like this dot, after comes out here into the bracket after, let's say 11 milliseconds, not let that be 11. And here comes the function calling. What's the name for my function? Cam underscore feed. So that's cam underscore feed. Remove out these brackets, not needed here. Okay. After the if condition, let's use out the else condition. So else if these are not the case, so in that case, what it will do, it will configure the label to display out the frame. So window dot, again comes the camera label dot, here comes the configure function into the bracket. I have image is equal to like this. All sorted, right? So this thing is again, so the feed one is actually done out. Okay. Now what I'll be doing is that I'll be making out one another function. That function will help me to browse out and put out my image onto the relevant position, onto relevant destination, wherever I just want that to be put out. Right, this is now what will be happening here. So let's quickly make that out. So let me first of all come down and go back. So let me go to the alignment right here. Okay, so this is the correct page step. So that's browse underscore. Haven't I made any variable regarding to browse underscore image till now? So entry label button browse. No, we haven't. Fine. So right here, putting out the brackets, putting out the colon, and coming to the new line. Now what I'll be doing is that I'll be using out making out a variable that will help me to open out the directory wherever I just want to set out my image. So dir underscore open is equal to it. This is the reason I imported out that file dialog function above. Remember, we have one function here that is ask open file name, like this one. So it will help, it will basically ask you to open out the relevant file where you just want to set out your and save out your image actually. Fine. After this, we have a parameter here that is initial dir, and what that does actually, it helps you to set out the thing. So I would just write out here the directory path, right? One sentence I just want to put out. Fine. Right. Next, I just want to make out a path for the image. Let me just come down first of all. The path underscore image, image right here. Fine. So that I'll be setting it as to open dir only. Dot, I'll be using out my set method, and inside that I would be setting out the dir underscore open only, dir underscore open. Okay, we had made out some variable like this above only. Let me just show you that window label. Okay, that label where we had made out. So it is entry underscore image. Let me put that out. Path underscore image, not that. It's entry underscore image right here. Fine. Let's come down. Okay. Right here that has again been set out. Dot set method has been used. So here I'm just displaying out the directory text box. Okay. Now what I'll be doing is that next I'll be opening out my image to view. So view underscore image, image, that is equal to, right here I'm just not like seeing out the errors right here. I'll be seeing out all of the errors afterwards, not right. Okay, so this has been done, and here use the image function, image variable dot open function, and inside that I'll be using out the dir underscore open variable. Fine. Now resizing the image, if you just want to resize your image, so that is all as well allowed. So resize underscore img, that is equal to image, that's view underscore image, my variable which I just made right here. So view underscore image, putting out a dot and using out here my resize function. Inside the bracket I have the, let's say that 650, comma, I have let's say 490. Okay, that has again been made out. Putting out a comma, using out that image here, dot, and here we have some function that is anti-alias. It means that whatever the image, let's see, right now I'm sitting onto the right hand side. Okay, let's say I just raise out my right hand hand. So the image which will be captured onto that, it will be seen as my left hand. This is what this anti-alias is actually. Right, hope you got out this idea as well. Right, this is done. Now I would be making out an object for the photo image class, which will basically help me to display out the frame. Right, so it's the variable is display underscore img is equal to, and that would be image tk. Okay, that's not like this, it's image tk, this function. Okay, that's simple image tk. Above somewhere I have written that out, and I have written that out here wrong. 1 second. Somewhere I had written that particular thing, but where is that? I'm not actually able to see that out. So here image tk is this. That's absolutely correct. Let me move forward first of all. No, here it is not. Coming down, okay, it will basically show it afterwards only. Let that be. When we'll be getting out errors, so it will let me know the line where I had made out the wrong things. Fine. Image tk dot, here goes the photo image function. Putting out the bracket and using out my resize underscore not like this, resize underscore img variable. Fine. Now I'd be configuring out the label to display out the frame. So that's window dot image. Okay, that's I guess label. Okay, what's the variable which I had made out above somewhere? That's image underscore image right here. So window dot. So that's image. Okay, that's img underscore img, something like that. Let's see afterwards what is it. Dot, and here comes the config. Okay, into the bracket I'll be setting out the image as a parameter, and into that I'll be using out this display image, display underscore img. Right, that is again sorted. That is actually again done out here, and at last I'll be keeping a reference. So for that I'll be using out window dot image label. Okay, that's image label only. We had already made that above. Image label, and L would be capital, not small. Fine. Image label has been made out. Dot. Here comes the config. Into the bracket I have image is equal to, that's display underscore image. Display underscore. Okay, not the config. I would just quickly set out one equal to sign. After this, I'll be using out the photo is equal to like this. Image display, 1 second. Let me just write that one. So image, and here goes the display underscore image, right? Like this. Yeah, this function. Okay, that has again been made out. Fine, these things are made. Now I'll be making out a capture function to capture out the image for me. Fine, so let's go back and come down. So here it's def and img underscore capture. I just need to check that whether I had made any variable like this or not. Otherwise, it will show me some type of error. Button, label, entry, button. No, we haven't. Fine, that's good. Putting out the brackets, putting out the colon, and coming to the new line. Okay, first of all, I'll be storing out again the date in the mentioned format, whichever we had mentioned above. So let's give it out. The variable is name underscore image. That's like this is equal to. We have here datetime module dot now function dot we have strf time, and that I want first of all into the %d, then should be slash, then I want %m slash, then I want %y. Okay, after that I want it to be %r, then it's slash should be %minute, and it should be %second. Fine, done. New line. Now here I'll be applying out some conditions. I'll be just basically selecting out that what is the destination for the directory which we have actually made out. So if, okay, so do we have any variable like that? So no, we haven't. So I would just write here img underscore path. So fine, my variable name, okay, dot get, and putting out the bracket, putting out the colon. Okay, we had actually made out something above that was actually having out and saving out my destination for my path. We'll change it afterwards. Okay, no issues for now. For now, let's continue and make out the different things. Whatever we are just willing to do, image underscore path is equal to. What are the errors will be coming? We'll be dealing all of them afterwards, not right here. Okay, and here comes the img underscore, that's img underscore path dot use out here the get function like this. Okay, it will basically help me to get out the path for the image, right? That will actually help me to do out. Fine. Now second condition is that if the user haven't mentioned out any particular path, so in that case it could just show out a message box dot show error like this, and into the bracket I could just show out that error. After that, putting out a comma, I could just mention that please select a directory. Fine, a simple statement like this, I could just mention it out. Fine. Now after that, whatever the like destination has been saved, I'd be using out the one of the functions to concatenate out that particular destination, right? So name underscore image is equal to, here would be my image path. Okay, that's image underscore path, and using out the plus sign, putting out the slash here. Again using out the plus sign, what's the name for my image? That image underscore names. Again using out the plus sign and saving it in the form of JPG. Okay, right, that thing is actually done right here. Fine. Now comes the capturing out my frame. So what I would just do is that let me go above and copy out this line which we have already made out. So Control C, because that would remain same. And coming down and using out here frame 1, frame 2, and window.cap.read. Fine, that's done. Now I'll be displaying out the time and date onto the frame. Okay, so for that I would be just now again 1 second, let me go above, copy out this particular line because that's now again the same one which we have already made out, coming down and doing Control V. Okay, afterwards is not done. Let me write that. That's %minute and putting out the colon, and again that's %second. Putting out this and closing this out, right? All sorted. what happened to this window? Okay, window is equal to window.cap.read. Okay, so let's see. So let's go to the other position, datetime.now. Okay, fine. We'll see that what has been happened here. Right, so this is sorted, again sorted. Now I have just displayed out the time and the things. Okay, after that I just need to display out the positions as well. So let's do out right here. So after the seconds, I would be quickly putting out a comma right here and mentioning out some position. Let's say that's 430, comma 468. Putting out a comma, here goes the CV2 dot and goes the font, again that same function which we had used above, that's font underscore Hershey underscore duplex, and giving it out some values, let's say comma, here comes the let's say that's 0.5 comma, and here comes let's say 0 comma 255 comma 255. And yes, I'm closing out the last bracket. Fine. Now window is okay because I just missed out one of the brackets, and yeah, because of that only it was just giving me the errors like that. Right. Now what I'll be doing is that I would be writing out one another variable that will actually store that if that basically the image has been captured with a frame or not. Okay, so let's use that. img underscore success is equal to, here goes the cv2 dot and function is im right. Okay, so my image underscore names comma, and I'll be using out here as my frame 2. Fine, that has again been done. Next, saving out my image, so img underscore save, putting out the equal to sign here, and that goes the image dot open, and into the brackets here goes the image name. So that's what img underscore name. So removing out this brackets. So it is my saved image. So img underscore saved. Okay, because the image has already been saved previously. We have done that thing, right? So yeah, that has been done. I'll be configuring out the label to display the frame. So this is one of the steps which you always need to do out regularly. Okay, image or like this image label comes out here using out dot, and okay, that's window dot, not a comma. So window dot image. Okay, let me write that out. Image label dot, and here goes out the function that's photo. And let me remove this out from once again dot. Right. After this is sorted, I'll be putting out a equal to sign and using out my variable which I have just right here made, that's img underscore saved. Okay. Now displaying out the message box if my image has been saved. So display out me this particular. So if what's the variable? So that's img underscore saved colon, and write out here that message box dot show info. That's not the show error now because now we do not have any particular error to be shown. So image saved would be my title, putting out a comma, and this would be that the image has been saved. Right? Done. Okay, let me first of all come back here. Let me go to the alignment, proper alignment. Fine. So image box has been made out. Now I just want to, now I'll be making out two more functions. But first will be for stopping out my camera and second would be for starting out my camera. Right? So def, okay, this would be outside, not inside only. Def and cam underscore stop. Bracket coming to the new line. Using out here window dot cap dot release. Putting out the bracket, coming to the new line. Here goes the window dot that is cam. Okay, now here we have one function to be followed out, that is cambtn. Okay, that would help me to save out, and here goes the configure. Right? Not configure, that's simply config. Putting out the bracket and using out here the text. What text? So that would be my text for, okay, yes, that would be my text for stopping out my cam. Okay, that's start camera. So SG start camera. Coming down and now mentioning out here the command. So comma, what's the command? So that will be defining afterwards, not right here again. Coming to the new line that has been sorted. Now I'll be displaying out the text, the message into my camera label for closing that out. Okay. So that's window dot camera label. That's window dot camera label dot config. Into the bracket I have text is equal to what text? I just want to test like that is camera off. Okay, putting out a comma. What about my font? So my font I just want it out here to be first of all, let's say Arial, and the size would be, let's say 21. I want that into the bold as well, so here it is that. Fine. Right, coming to the new line, camera label has been now switched off. Now basically it's the time for using out that start camera. Okay, so I'll be using out, making out my last function, that is div, and it's cam underscore start. Putting out the brackets, coming to the new line, creating out the object for my camera video capture. Okay, so that's window dot cap, which is equal to here cv2. Okay, not like this, it's cv2 dot video capture, my function, into the bracket, putting out the 0 here. Fine. Right, next I'll be using out and setting out the width and height. So width underscore 1, that's equal to 650, the one which we had mentioned previously. 600, where is that? And what about my height? So that height underscore 1, that's again 490, mentioned previously as well, right? Now I'll be setting that to the frames. Fine. So for setting that, I would just write out here window dot cap dot set, and inside the brackets it's cv2 dot, here goes the cap underscore this proper frame function. Okay, let me just prop underscore, we have frame count, frame width, so this one. Okay, putting out a comma and passing on the variable, that's width, width underscore 1. Okay, not that exclamation mark, it's 1. Copying out this particular line and pasting it onto the new line, and using out here that instead of width, it's the height one. So write this height, and the variable name is, instead of that, it's height underscore 1. Right, again sorted out that. Coming to the new line, using out here window dot, okay, that's cam button. Okay, I will just use out the variable which we had used above for making out the button for the camera. So okay, so let's see, where is that particular actually? So I guess it is here somewhere, that is button underscore capture. So let me come down. Where is that cam button? Once here I have just used it out. Right here it's camera underscore, that was camera underscore capture, I guess. No, it was button underscore capture. Fine. So it's button underscore capture right here. Coming to the new line as well, here as well I'll be mentioning out that same, that's button underscore capture. Fine. Dot, using out my config function here in the bracket, writing out my text to stop right here, and that would be inside my inverted commas, stop the cam, my text. Okay, fine. Putting out a comma and again using out here my command function, right? So that command I'll be mentioning in a short while. Now setting out the configure to my camera label, so that's window dot, it's camera label like this, dot config, and into the bracket I'll be setting out my text, that's equal to like this blank, right? And at last I'll be calling out my very first function. What was that name? 1 second, let me go ahead and check it out. So it was cam underscore feed. Fine. Writing out and calling out my function, that's cam underscore field, right? That's also sorted. We have already made out the window for the Tkinter. Let me take it to the above, to the perfect position where it is right here. Some things have to be changed out here as well. Let's quickly change that out. This time I would be uncommenting this, the one which we have already made out, and here, okay, not right here, I'll be making out here window dot cap dot set. I'll be setting out here the cv2 dot that's cap underscore prop underscore frame width first of all. Okay, putting out a comma and giving out that tk dot width, right? Copying out this particular line and saving it onto the next line, giving out a space from here so that it is actually seems out a little bit of different, taking this above and getting out space here. So instead of width, it's height, HEI, height like this, right? TK dot height, and here as well, it's instead of width, it's height, 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 right? So that all is sorted right here. Now basically what I'll be doing is that, okay, coming down. Now remember I had put on 2 positions blank for the text variable. Remember I was just telling you that I'll be mentioning out those text variables afterwards. Right here I'll be mentioning out those text variables also. So path underscore dest, that is my destination path, and that's the string var, bracket like this. And what about my image? That's image underscore path, and that is again my string var. Fine, that all have been written out. So now these particular paths will be set onto that above variables which we had made out. I will let you know that where to save that out. Okay. Before that, I'd be calling out my very first function, that is add underscore features, right? So let me just come down here and use that out, add underscore features. This is how we just call out a function. Right, now what I'll be doing is that I'll be mentioning out that variables, that text variables onto the relevant positions where first of all they were actually needed out, right? So first of all let's mention that out, and after that we'll be again calling out the functions as well. Whatever are relevant at whatever the positions, we'll be calling out those functions as well. So let's go above and check out where to mention these things. So okay, first of all was to be mentioned in this entry one, right, into this particular box where we had to set out the width and all the things. So I'll be mentioning out here that path underscore dest, right? One thing has been sorted. Coming to the next line, where was, yeah, here was one another. So what was the another function variable which we had made out? Let me go back and check that. That's image underscore path. So it was to be mentioned here, yeah. So write out here that variable name, it's image underscore path, right? Okay. First of all, text variables have been done out. Now what's the other thing which is left? It's a time for using the calling of the functions. What are the places were left where I had sorted out and kept out that command empty? Let's fill them out. So first one was here, I guess, at this particular place. What's the variable name? It's the for the button browse, right? Browse button. So let's make out and use out that command. So what was the very function name which we had made out for browsing out the destination? So campfeed is not the one, browse underscore image, yes. Browse underscore image was the one which we had made out. So let me use out here and put it out. So it's browse underscore image, right? It's all done. This command is done here. Coming to the new line, and where again it is wherever it is needed. Let's see. So command here are needed. So it is for the button capture and the stop button. Capture and the stop one. So I remember something we had made about, yeah, cam stop. So this one is variable for capture now. So here would be some capture. Okay, MG capture. It's not that, I guess. It's cam underscore start, I guess. Let's see that what is it actually, because I completely do not remember what are the things that we need to add out. Fine, so let's add cam underscore start like this right here. So it's for the capture. What are other else functions which we had made out? Let's go downside and see. Let me move it to the other place. We had made cam feed, that's not the one. Browse image is done. Image capture and cam stop. Cam stop and cam start. Okay. Let's go above and check that out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, this button capture and button stop, right? Button underscore capture and button underscore stop. So cam start not, this is the one where I'll be using out that image underscore capture function, img underscore capture. And this is for the stop. So here will be used out that stop cam function. So it is cam underscore stop like this, right? Stop. Fine. Where else it was? Okay, what? Yeah. Where else we had called? We were needing out the calling of the function. So let's come down, check that out. Let me move here. Yeah. So it was button image, window dot button underscore image. Let's see that here. What was the function which was actually called out? Like what is the function name which we had actually made out for calling of these functions? So let me come down here and let's check that out. So yeah, some image function was there actually. Image underscore capture, fine, and it was cam underscore start right here. Come back and mentioning that out. So cam underscore start, done. Fine, let's now see that what are the other things which we have to do here. Okay, that's image tk. Haven't I uploaded that above or haven't I mentioned that? Okay, right here it's all again sorted. Image underscore tk has been done correct. Okay, entry underscore image, my variable name. Okay, we need to figure this entry and the image path. Fine, let's quickly go ahead and figure that thing out as well. So basically here at this particular place, I just forgot to mention out this particular one of the functions. So let's mention that quickly out. So here I just written div and make out a variable that's dist underscore browse my function. Let me just zoom in first of all. Right, that has been made out. And okay, into this I'm just simply copied out whatever I just written into the next folder, that's browse underscore image. I simply copied the above two lines and simply set it out the path for this particular thing, right? That's all which I had done out here. Nothing too much special I have mentioned. This is only the one of the things which is actually mentioned on this particular place, right? And here I just called out my relevant functions which we had already seen that how to just call them out and all of those things. One more change we just need to make it out here is that we just need to add one line here, that's window dot cap. Okay, let me just quickly add that line here at itself, that's window dot cap. The cap which we are actually using, we just need to first initialize that out. So cv2 dot, and here I have the function which is video capture, and in the bracket I'm going to write here as 0. And what I would just do is that I would just zoom in and show you that what actually I have written so that you are also able to write out those particular things. So yeah, this line for this particular 142 lemma 9. Okay, make sure to quickly write out this particular thing as well here only. Whatever I have just mentioned at this particular place. Right, all the things were all sorted. Now simply I had just changed out here the variable names, whatever the ones which we have declared above. And yeah, that's already understood. We had seen out those things. Now what I'm going to do is that it's the time for running out my program. So I just click onto the run button here at this particular place and right here. Okay, so okay, 1 second. So let's open that out. Okay, actually right here, just let me quickly close this out at this particular place. And what I need to do is that I need to write out, okay, the source. Fine. I just quickly need to close out my real camera which is actually present here. Because of that it's not taking out the camera thing. So let me just quickly close this out and run it out once again right here. Because of that it wasn't taking out. Yeah, now just have a look that it has actually taken out my that camera which I was mentioned that it is not at all taking. So this is how it's actually looking out. This is my camera feed, this is my image preview. Okay, and yes, and here we have the click button, the stop camera, many things actually we are having at this particular place. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just first of all going to click on this click button. See, a pop-up came that this node directory has been saved out at this particular place. So I just need to click on the browse button. Right, let's say I just want to save it onto my desktop only. Right, and I will click on select folder. See here, this file has automatically been set up, that is C users, then user, and then desktop. This is where I just want to set it out, right? Now I could just simply click on this button and the image would be clicked for me. And on the right hand side, as I was mentioning, you'll be able to see out a frame, and on this frame you'll be able to see out the image of your which you have actually clicked out. And one other thing, that I had aligned it vertically, right? Remember, I was just telling you that whatever I'm just having right here, the mirror image of that will be coming onto the other side. Let's click on click right here. And yes, so image captured and saved, and this is the particular location where your image is captured and is saved in. And this is how my image actually look like. It's a quite, what word should I use for you? See, on the downside, this thing as well is present out, which is my time, that what's the time current right now, that has been done. Fine, and if I just click on stop camera, so it would actually stop, and here see it is showing that off cam. We had seen this thing as well, right? How to switch that off. I will just minimize this out here and minimize this out as well. Minimize, okay, I'll just minimize everything. 1 second, minimize this as well. And see, here I just got out my image which I have captured right here. That's this one. Okay, that's 820. Yeah, this image has been captured right here. Let me open that out here for the time. And yes, this is my image which has been captured out. Let me again open this out at this particular place. Start camera. Let's do onto this particular thing. And yes, my camera has again been started for me. Right, so hope you got out this idea very much clearly, how you would be able to make out a camera like this for your own, and how you'll be able to use this out particularly for your own work. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.